What does it mean to follow the through line of a conversation? You know when it breaks, when you get distracted or you lose the thread of exactly where the conversation was. But you can also drag someone through a conversation as you work through your own thoughts, or drag them through as you follow your own curiosity. So this should be a very short topic. Don't get lost and don't drag. But some of the funniest moments are from a person's mind wandering. Some of the deepest insights are when a person divulges something. The best and most powerful conversationalists have a way of carrying you along. You get caught up in a current. So if mind wandering is insightful and creative and self-led and distracting, and if dragging a person through the conversation is overpowering and narcissistic and insightful and charismatic, then what exactly is this dance we call a conversation? We can map this paradox into the 4 different conversation styles to help us dig into it. On the dragging someone through side, we have the storyteller and we have the debater. And then on the mind-wandering side, we might have the listener and the questioner. But that's not a great mapping. While storytellers and debaters are energy providers and therefore do run the risk of dragging someone through a conversation perhaps, they can also offer the creative insight that can only be found in mind-wandering. And while your listeners and your questioners are more energy receptive and might get lost in their own musings and curiosity perhaps, they can also offer a very powerful, charismatic presence. So you see, it's all a dance. The only question is, how many steps do you know and how often do you step? Do not confuse steps with finding a balance in between. No. If you are telling a story, claim the stage and tell the story. If you are asking questions, allow them to claim the stage and ask your questions. If you try to do both storytelling and asking questions, you will be a very insecure storyteller. And I'm sure you can see why a debater and a listener don't necessarily go together. It's kind of hard to imagine those two working at the same time. Although I will say that a listener in a meeting, in a place where decisions are being made, can be a very powerful presence. So the steps we want to look out for after this video are mind wandering, which can be distracting, it might be creative. The overpowering, dragging someone through, that might be charismatic. And then map that onto energy providing and being more energy receptive. The energy providing might be the storyteller and the debater. And the more energy receptive might be the listener and the questioner. But the thing is, those maps, those levels don't map on perfectly. There are multiple ways of pulling this and using that tension to understand ourselves better, to understand the dance better, and to be able to step better. So the question I want you to ask yourself today, to try to get more of a felt sense of this dance and how our body feels in this dance, is the basic 5 questions. Who, what, where, why, when? Who brings out different dance moves in me? Where does bring out different dance moves in me? Do those 2 things interplay? When? When does it happen? Am I dancing differently in the morning to in the evening? Why? How? Who, what, where, when, why? Ask your questions and see why or how your body moves in response to different things and how you might be able to introduce one different step from perhaps a different place, or maybe just a totally brand new step. Maybe practice the storytelling because you never storytell. Maybe practice debating because you don't stand up and debate and argue a point and put in boundaries perhaps. Or maybe cut out debating altogether because all you do is argue and put up boundaries? I don't know. Ask your questions. Who, what, where, why, when. Go through the steps. Are we being mind-wandering? Are we being overpowering? Are we being energy providing? Are we being energy receptive? Do we tend more towards one side than the other? Is that affecting our experience of life? Is that affecting our fluency in conversation? That is where I want to leave today's video. Thank you for your time and attention. I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.